Welcome to part 8 of Blue Dragon. This is the beginning, blah blah blah, insert stupid joke here.
We finally found our parents, which kind of means haven't we accomplished everything we need to, actually, story-wise?
You'll see, Jova. We're about to have a scene with Jiro's parents in a moment. Oh, hi, blurry face guy.
We still need to defeat the purple evil guy anyway.
But that was never established as something that they needed to do for the sake of the world. Because we know he's just
an extension. They needed to defeat the land shark, and the land shark brought them to the bad guy. So consequentially, they need to defeat the bad guy.
Yeah, but they don't know that yet. For all they know, they just needed to find their parents.
With Gyro and his parents, I guess?
Yes, exactly.
Let me guess. It turns out they're the chosen ones.
No, well, it's not from that.
You too, Mother?
Well, after you and the land shark were swallowed into the earth...
Your mother started to dig. She just kept digging even after her fingernails were split.
Jesus.
That's painful.
You guys didn't have any shovels?
Well,
not.
If only someone with a shovel would have ventured in these lands to help them. Alright, Drova?
Oh, there you go. Actually, there you go. There you go. The shovel broke clean in half.
Well, what do you know?
Cheap tools do you people have?
Hold on. So we're actually having a scene that goes into depth with the characters. I mean, his parents care so much for him that even when their tools broke, they dug with their bare hands. That's actually touching.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
The game doesn't really earn this.
Hold on. Not just that, Pedro. Who is Gyro to deserve this? He's the friend's protagonist, but aside from that, what else?
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, Gyro's more of a protagonist than Shu. I mean, we know more about him and his family, quite honestly.
But not really, Joe. When you get right down to it here, Jiro is the calm thinking one, and he has parents. That's it. That's literally all we know about him. I mean, to me, in order for a scene like this not to mention the scene didn't really even do that much. Like, it was way too short.
What I mean...
Go ahead, sorry.
It was a scene in the right direction, though. And what I'm saying is, we've actually seen more sense of interaction with Jiro, and he has more sense of worry. Granted, maybe that comes with the territory of him actually having both living parents, but seriously, when you actually factor in what we know about Jiro, we actually know why he'd be worried about getting to them quicker, why he'd be so worried, and also what stake he has more so. I mean, with Shu, at best we know it's his grandpa. At least with Jiro, we got a sense that his parents actually care for him, and the fact that he has a sibling that we later find out about actually adds that. I'm not saying that it's
I'm
much...
honestly tempted to say that Yugi actually has more interaction with his grandpa than Shu has with his.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, for as much as we give a Yugi or Shu flack, even they eventually grew out of their stupid stints. This game, though, has not yet.
Alright, now we're going to get a little mini game of sorts to change up the pace. Guarding the wagons. The health meters for both wagons are displayed in the upper left of the screen. If a wagon is attacked...
don't tell me.
Yes, an escort mission!
No!
So let me get this straight. Okay. Escort missions are one thing, but in context, what sense does it make to have your children, who you've been looking for, be the ones to guard the wagon?
To be fair, Joe, but they have dragons to...
Magic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but seriously, most time parental figures are a bit more paranoid in the fact that how do they even know how to work them?
Didn't we just had a scene with Gyro's parents say how we were so worried about him?
Yeah, I mean, look. I know that it can be annoying, having the parent that's constantly worrying for you, but in order for the character to be believable, which would you believe more? A parent or grandfather who just saw their kids wield some mystical blue magic stuff, or, parents who would at least ask more questions about it? It's like the problem with Odd Life of Timothy Green. The parents, well, quote-unquote parents, never ask their child questions.
Anyway...
So in terms of annoyance, or I guess goodness, how is this escort mission?
Okay, don't worry if you missed the tutorial because it's not very complicated. Basically, What you have to do is every time a monster shows up, you have to destroy it to keep it from hitting the wagons. Now, this opens up kind of an interesting question. If the roads are so dangerous and full of monsters as this minigame implies, then how the hell did they even manage to get through the valley intact?
Could they possibly just spot on the road?
And trust me, as you're about to see, these wagons are very easily damaged.
They're that easily damaged.
Fortunately, you have free repair kits. So when the health is starting to get low, you repair it a total of 3 times.
Also, just gonna say, and this may sound weird, but I don't think this kind of JRPG is the kind that really asks for an escort mission. Because, okay, look, let's compare this to
Variety's sake, I guess?
Well, it's more so how the actual gameplay flows. Like, let's compare this to Kingdom Hearts. When you're escorting Queen Minnie, you actually have to be constantly on your toes to keep everything off of her. Here, though, as long as you just, get to them...
Also, in that escort mission, you do 5 steps and then you're done.
Basically, what I mean is, well, here, though, it's just a matter of running into the enemy, as opposed to, having to actually keep them off it. Because, again, this is pretty much just a turn-based battle system. So, in terms of escort missions, all you have to do is just make sure you run into them quick enough, and that keeps the wagon from getting damaged.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I mean. It's
True, yeah.
Okay.
That's actually a good point, actually, yeah.
Think about it. It's like if Pokemon had an escort mission. Literally, all you would have to do is just make sure that the trainers see you instead of the person you're trying to escort.
I will say this, though. There are times where 2 or maybe even 3 monsters pop up at the same time. So it is possible to... Yeah, there you go, right now. 2 monsters at the same time. But like Jova said... But like Jova said, while we're in this battle, the field itself is frozen, so no worries, you can take your time with this battle, don't worry. The tiger is frozen right now, so we're fine.
And honestly, the only way they can make this challenging is if they did the unfair thing and made it so that you could somehow lose damage while, fighting these things, which would then be unfair.
That doesn't make sense.
Exactly, that's what I mean. It's this sort of JRPG where the battle is triggered by that doesn't really call for an escort mission. It sounds like a nitpick, but when you get down to it, have you ever seen a JRPG like this really have an escort mission without changing up the gameplay structure? Usually whenever JRPGs have an escort mission like this, they change up how the gameplay of that particular section works. But not here.
Yeah, I guess I can't really argue with that. What I was gonna say. By the way, Theo, this is the part where we're actually going to get to that cutscene that I showed you.
Alright.
And we're going to get... This is the part, everybody, where I officially gave up. We're about to get to the point in the game where I officially went, okay, you know what? No, I can't do this anymore. And I never played this game again until later when I got my actual 360. And I gave this game a second shot.
You can push over the rocks. That's nice to know, I guess.
No, actually, this is important, Joe, because you have to... If there's rocks in the way, they can't go through, so you have to destroy them.
Okay, but why is that such a big thing? It's not like there are monsters coming to attack you right now. I get there are monsters coming to attack you right now. I get the urgency, but otherwise it's just a time waster. And there we go.
I can imagine the algorithm is not determined just by the wagons moving, but by the time spent. So if you're blocked in the way, there's still the possibility of a monster showing up.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I meant, and yeah, I noticed that the monsters popped out. Okay, fair enough. So, Pedro, the thing that made you quit initially, is that gameplay related or story related?
When we meet the 5th character.
Wait. So, Maru is not the worst character in this game.
No, it's not. No, Maru is the worst character. It's just that by the time we meet the 5th character, I was starting to think, okay, please, is anyone interesting ever going to actually be playable in this game, or is anything actually interesting going to happen in the story at this point? Because, don't get me wrong, the gameplay is passable, but I might as well be playing a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, that's one thing some people have to remember about things when people complain about character content. Say, in games like, a big party-wide RPG, or say something like a fighting game, part of the reason people play that is for the characters in it. Now, in fighting games, that's obviously a case of popularity, but here, in, say, a JRPG where it's a
not even just that
completely
for
new
me,
world,
Jova.
it's about making those characters actually likable, iconic, and memorable.
It's not even just that for me, Jove. It's just that I mean, I don't like the story and characters of Tales of Vesperia at all. But I still had fun with that game because the gameplay is excellent. The gameplay in this game is fine. Don't get me wrong. It does have its problems, but I still think it's fine enough. The problem is that that's exactly it. It's just fine enough. You know, there's nothing I cannot get here that I can get in much better RPGs.
And there's nothing that seems to compensate for it either, because all those things you mentioned about the characters, like none of these characters are any of those things from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, speaking presentation-wise, they don't even really do much to make the battle animations actually look interesting. Like, heck, give Pokemon credit, at least when they evolved up the generation, they actually knew that they had to make their battle animations more interesting. They can't even do that here, really. It's just, oh, they swipe and strike, the giant blue avatar attacks. Riveting.
Yeah. It's just again, I don't want to I love, okay, maybe love is too strong a word. I really like Lost Odyssey a lot. I have no ill will against Mistwalker. I mean, but I really think this game, okay, I get it. Let me until this cuts off screen. When you actually look into the background of stuff, with the fact that Sakaguchi originally pitched Lost Odyssey in 2003 to Microsoft, it's not that hard to get to the conclusion that this game was probably made because Microsoft wanted 2 RPGs instead of 1. So he shoved this one out so he could make Lost Odyssey. Okay, I get that this game was made by a mandate, but I still think he could have at least put a little more effort into the story, at least, because there's literally no effort put into the story. And trust me, guys, we haven't even gotten to the worst part of the story, because just recently I finished recording the end of Disc 2, and I'll just say this, Jova, about when it comes to Nene's motivations for doing all of this. The plan and motivations of the Super Pope make more sense than Nene's. You have no idea how much it hurts me to say that. The Super Pope's plan makes more sense than this, and you have no idea how it hurts to me to admit that, but it does.
So how many discs are in this game?
3 discs. Just like Final Fantasy XIV. Lost Odyssey is the one that has more. Lost Odyssey has 4 discs. Although, don't get me wrong, I really like Lost Odyssey, but that 3rd disc is for the most part kind of pointless. But I'll get into that.
Well, to be fair, isn't that also kind of the case with Final Fantasy VII? Well, actually, to be fair, Final Fantasy VII has the excuse that the 3rd disc was completely full of those.
Not really. There's plenty of plot and character development in Disc 3. And to be fair, Disc 3 of Lost Odyssey does have some really good character development in there. The problem is that it's not enough to fill a whole disc. For the most part, the plot points of Disc 3 kind of go nowhere. That's one of the...
Is it because it has a lot of cutscene in Disc 3?
No. It's kind of hard to explain without getting into spoilers, you see.
No, because the
just that they couldn't fit
game
enough on the first 2.
Usually are those the FMVs are compressed in a way.
Oh no, it's not because of MVs. Trust me. It's not even because of MVs. It's not that.
Is it just because the first 2 discs of Lost Odyssey are over brimming with content, so they just had to put the leftover space into the 3rd disc?
Again, it's
Because
really hard to explain.
Well, whatever. I guess we'll see when we'll get to that.
We'll see when we get to that. After this, we'll do Child of Light, and after that, we'll move on to Lost Odyssey. I've already finished. I've already finished getting my New Game Plus file ready for recording, so I can start now whenever I want.
So anyway, back to this game. Didn't this game get sort of a sequel or something?
Yeah, it got 2 sequels on the DS. Because Microsoft kind of gave up on this IP, so Mistwalker had to make the sequels on the DS instead of the Xbox 360 like it was planned originally.
You know, I'm not going to defend games that turn out like this, but with games like this, and admittedly Apollo Justice, we do have to ask ourselves, considering how much work, time, and effort does go into making a game and how grating that can be, we have to wonder how much of this was the developer actually trying his best with a mandate at the time. I mean, to be fair, aside from... Actually, no, not even with Kojima. I mean, I can't really think of a time when a developer has done their best with something that was mandated out of a game, because okay, for as much as
Yeah.
we talk about how much work goes into making a movie or, even a comic book or something, those tend to get outweighed by games, which
Yeah,
is sort
exactly.
of the reason why movie tie-in games tend to get rushed, because they have to get rushed to come out at the same time as the movie and don't get the proper time and care. So
Don't forget,
I
Jova,
really-
Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker was made technically on a mandate because originally Kojima intended for 4 to be his last one, but of course Konami, so he made Peace Walker. And Peace
Wait.
Walker still turned out great despite the mandate aspect of it.
Wait, hold on. You're saying that Konami had a time when they actually mandated the making of Metal Gear, and yet later with Metal Gear Solid 5, they're like, you know what? Nope, no more Metal Gear.
Well, the main reason for it's a different
Yeah, I know,
situation,
I know.
Jova.
I guess to be fair, different leads at the time and different.
Not just that, but we're cutscene now, kind of. Is still there, Shiroi? By the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow, those tigers all did a complete flip and why?
All right, we're about to get to it.
All right.
There's too many. We're completely surrounded.
Catchphrase? Catchphrase coming?
Maru Maru, hey! You're giving up.
Oh, what's he's?
Let's make a break for it. Gotta get these villagers to safety.
Also, Maru Maru abuse.
Also, more gameplay and story segregation, because up until we spawned, we still steamrolled the enemies.
In fact, wasn't there actually a cutscene literally saying we're getting stronger?
That kind of talk is gonna get us wiped out.
I mean, Grandpa, weren't you the one who told me never to give up in the first
True,
place? What's
true.
with this
Joe has a
character
point.
consistency?
Here we go.
All right, then I'll do it. I'm gonna do this, even if the rest of you are giving up. I won't.
Sakaguchi-san, could you get a question? Can this character get a new character trait? Because his one character trait is starting to get old.
I'm just gonna. Oh my God, this cutscene actually looks good.
Yeah, it's an FMV.
I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, and
right
here's
now,
the cutscene that I showed too. Oh, hi, Sam.
Yeah.
And yes, the King of
Riegel.
Jabral is played by Sam Riegel, yeah.
No. Okay. Well, maybe he'll actually be a good character.
No, well, not really, Jova. He doesn't really have a character. He's just the king. Sorry.
He literally stabbed the tiger in the ass.
That feels like a metaphor for this game.
Alright, and pause so we can load the in-game scene.
Wait a minute. The tiger knocked the soldier away and then just fell over.
I'm here to help.
Last
Yeah.
breath attack with Jova.
From whence do you come?
Tulsa Village.
Oh great, he's speaking ancient English.
I see. Very well. Please direct your people to our carriages. Our forces will
It's like if Phoenix Wright all of a sudden took on an English kingly manner.
Alright, here's our fifth and final party member, Zola. She's a mercenary. She's a mercenary. No, let me describe her character for you. Allow me to describe her character for you. She's a mercenary, and she talks like a robot. And that's about it.
Oh.
And why the
So-
fuck is she named after a cheese?
So, is she supposed to be the king's daughter or something?
No. She's a mercenary. She has nothing to do with the kingdom. She's just here as a mercenary. And guess what? She can use magic too.
What do you mean?
And to be fair, we're gonna get a backstory with how she also got her orb. But okay, that's the thing, Teo. I guess they wanted to make up for okay, you know how Maru Maru is incredibly loud and annoying?
We'll fight.
Zola is the exact opposite extreme. She's always talking in this incredibly boring monotone without any emotion
Is that like a
whatsoever.
bat?
Yes, it's a bat.
So you can use
Hold on.
magic as
So
well.
she's captain of his slave masters and a mercenary?
Yeah, they don't really actually. Oh yeah, and Maru Maru now is in love with her.
Oh joy, interspecies sex.
Great.
Well, to be fair, it can be done well.
Well, and also to be fair, Pedro, so far she kinda sounds like Fang. So I don't see too much difference.
Don't worry, Teo. Don't worry, Teo. You'll hear more. You'll hear more.
And in case you're wondering, she's voiced by the same voice actor of Solfège, Polka's mother in Eternal Sonata.
Wait, hold on. So did the king just lead the villagers away? I did.
Here we go!
Why are we having the boss scene?
That's actually a good point.
Mode.
Yeah,
Because
these are just moves. Like, actually, not even that.
remember, Shiroi.
They're not even super
Shiroi.
moves.
Shiroi. Sakaguchi loves Deep Purple very, very much.
So, did the villagers make it out with the king? Because I could have sworn I just saw the king's carriage get away.
Get your logic out of here.
It's just simply asking for a cutscene to make sense.
Heck, it
Very
wouldn't even need to
good.
be a particularly long cutscene either.
We really needed to have the squeaky shoes, didn't we? That was totally... The game would be a total failure without it.
Well, like, do we actually hear them when we're walking around?
No, just in that
See,
battle.
like, we're fine. We're fine then.
Follow me.
Alright, there we go. We're safe.
But where are the wait, are those the village? Oh, there's the villages ones.
They're in the carriages, or
Where were
caravans,
the
or whatever.
villages' carriages during the last cutscene?
Alright, Teo, feel free to listen to Zola a bit more to...
Sure.
Because trust me, you'll still have a lot more to hear about her. This is her normally speaking, instead of
Okay,
being in a
let's
tense
hear.
situation.
Yeah.
High
That-
five.
So glad that everyone made it.
So
Very
am I.
made.
And we owe it to King Jabral.
Ew.
Hmm.
I guess.
Zola?
Please kill him.
Well, I suppose so.
He is really weird. Zola's shadow is in the form of a bat. Devi are fascinated by things like bats. We
When did we establish that?
We're establishing this now,
Intriguing.
and they're never gonna explain anything else about that.
That may be true, but I
Devi like bats. That's it too. That's your justification.
Aw, and that's
It's
what.
like random. It's like say,
Before
Portuguese.
you're quite
You better
skilled.
get some
Oh,
rest.
Hold on. It's like for saying that Portuguese just like frosty tips for their hair.
Do you guys?
no.
No, it's complete. I pulled that out of my ass, Jova.
Just like this game.
Alright, so yeah, we just met Zola. She's our final party member. She's not gonna join the party just yet. In the next part, if I remember
Of
correctly.
course.
So,
Table.
it seems a bit weird though. I mean, okay, look. If we're gonna have 5 party members, wouldn't it make sense to Oh my god, we only have 5 and we start with 3. Wouldn't it make sense to space them out a bit more?
I agree, and also notice how Sakaguchi-san, you haven't developed the 4 characters that you already have, and you're putting one more in. Come on.
Oh, hey, maybe he'll have them interact well.
Maybe it's a case similar to One Piece. The first half is to having the character join, and the latter half is to reinforce their characterization and establishing. But knowing what Pedro said, that's probably not the case.
No, sorry.
You
What?
just missed everyone. They all just went out.
Sure.
Cheeseburger.
Oh, where did everyone
Where did
go?
everyone go? Oops.
The village chief and a few people went to the castle. They had something to ask to the king.
Can we please stay here and not be kicked out like lazy bums after
Rest are sightseeing. They're all staying at the obvious immigration joke is obvious.
Question. Did they ever explain why the king happened to be out there?
No,
Probably hunting or something.
no, they don't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right, you go enjoy this UGT. There's a lot to say.
I guess we could just assume he's hunting, even though he had a
Spoilers.
royal.
Spoilers. Grandpa here is lying. There's not really not really that much to see in this city.
I don't know, it looks more lively than Final Fantasy 13 to me.
Well, too, like that's hard. I mean,
Well, for a game that's bad, it's still an accomplishment.
I guess. True.
I guess sure. Whatever. Moving on. It was about at this point when I got to Jabral that I was just getting so bored. You know what? I'm not gonna. I can't do this anymore. This game is way too boring. This game is way too boring for me. I'm literally almost. We're literally 2/3 into disc 1, and I still don't care about anything or anyone.
Wait,
So I just assumed. At this point that it wasn't going to get any better.
2/3 into disc 1 already?
Yes. And your puppy John, are you walking together?
Can we leave the dog out of this? The innocent little dog.
and John, you know, he found this old man.
Actually, I paced that for Shiroy, but whatever.
Oh, go
Oh,
on.
okay. Well, I just got here, so.
Oh, he's become really fond of me. Elderly dog lover.
Have you ever killed puppies and kids? Cool old guy.
You youngsters have spirit. I sure do like that.
Generic old man talking.
What are you talking about, Teo? I am incredibly memorable. You have never seen an elderly man in any RPG like me. Surely
Honestly, some of the old man NPCs in Low Track had more characterization than this guy. At least we knew French trivia.
That's sad.
I agree.
But that's sad, I'm not very much familiar because, you know, when I realized I could solve those riddles by just mashing it, I kind of stopped reading. But,
The trick was a game with... The trick was a game with, you know, a good intention. You're like, well, teaching French trivia for a video game. That was neat. It's just they should have given us a more compelling narrative to piece it with.
Anyway, what do we have to expect in the next part, Pedro?
In the next part, we're going to talk to the king and figure out what do we do from this point on.
All right.
Hooray!
See you, everybody.